Okay. So I said I would do my binding and kind of put a video together of how I do my binding and kind of what my body is looking like right now. So kind of personal. It's a little weird, I must say, but I feel like if I'm gonna show any kind of progress or any kind of difference and kind of let people know exactly what happens, then this is the only way I can do it. So uh, yeah. Anyways, here we go. So for me, I still have not had surgeries. My hips have adjusted slightly. They used to stick out farther, like out this way farther, but they've kind of set back. Nothing too different. Stomach wise, I'm still pretty much the same, although I have went up about 10 pounds. My arm muscles have changed. My shoulders have broadened. This right here, which is awesome. The only thing is that that's not really shown because I can't do a full open, or I can't do no shirt during performing, so you don't get to see that part too much. I'm still white as a ghost. Don't laugh. Okay. So, all right, for YouTube purposes, and I mean, kind of really, I don't really want to show all of me, but I'm not huge by no means, but I am. I wear a C cup and kind of always have. Um, I can pretty much lay my chest flat with my hands, but they have definitely changed shape and size and the way they fold and stuff from the binding over the years. It's definitely had an effect on my body. But this is basically how I bind and what I look like in binding just with tape. Okay, for the purposes of being on YouTube, I've already taped one side so I can show you just how I do this. I'm doing this on my own. It's always easier if you have someone else helping you pull around, but I have managed to figure out how to do it relatively good. It's not the best it can be, but it is what it is when you're working on your own. So I duct tape first, and then I of course use the famous Medipore white medical tape. It's kind of porous, but it says white 3M Medipore on the inside. You can pick it up from medical supply stores. So that's what I use to cover it, and that's what I also put my powdered makeup on so I can get it to blend in and not look like or at least hide the tape as best as possible. So with that going, this is how I get started here. So usually I put spray adhesive on the end of the duct tape before we put it on to the skin. It just helps stick. And when I'm doing it on my own, I just pull it back. I always stay close because I just tack it there and then push the rest around. I mean, this is the support. It's just got to be pulled back. Some people I have seen do it like this, and they have long enough arms, they can do it. Uh, but they stick it on, they hold the end of the tape and wrap it around. If you have long enough arms to do that, that's great, but this back here is just support. You just have to have it stick, push it back, and pull it from here. Then you can stick it down, push it around for the support. So it's just kind of a tip that I've figured out. This works better if you have spray adhesive. It kind of helps the tape stick, but I don't have any, first of all, and second of all, I'm in the middle of the day. I don't really want to deal with that. The other thing that I've noticed that being on T is that my body temperature has dramatically changed. I run way hotter than I ever did before, so I sweat more. But that also affects my binding and my taping. It's not too bad. There's that side. There's this side. If for a show, I would pull this down a little bit. I tried to get rid of the natural or the the pec illusion created from the extra skin as much as possible because I shaved my pecs up higher. I don't really use that as a pec line. And last but not least, close it off. This I also put spray adhesive on so it helps seal it off. Always seal off, it'll help keep you from sliding and popping open. The other thing is that I do slide underneath regular duct tape will slide underneath this white tape, and eventually it'll start showing my non-tan skin right here. And when that happens, I just go back and I take another piece of this white tape, spray adhesive it, put it right over the top to cover where it slid. Then I repowder the white tape and move on with the show. Since I've been working like this and binding in this way, in this manner technique, I have never came off or popped out during a show. I've slid and had some close calls, but as long as I get back and do it, so it's kind of what I look like. Okay, now moving on, after I've got my binding done, the next thing I move on to is the makeup. For me, I like to be darker on stage, so I use the airbrush pantyhose. You can choose from like 4 different colors, so it's just a matter of what skin tone you want to be. I try to look as different on stage from when I am off stage, and I feel like darkening myself really changes the way I look from every day. So.
Bye.